Welcome back to Meyer Sports of All Sorts. It's hard to believe, but high school football is about to fire up. It will begin in full force with the annual Crosstown Showdown. This will be the 19th year for that classic that has now grown to 38 teams and 19 games, several involving out of Tri-State teams. 19 years ago, Larry Cox was barely out of high school. Now he's the head football coach at Lakota West. I got my math correct on that, right?
Yeah, that'd be
19
correct.
years ago?
Yeah, it's our 20th year this year.
But I mean, 19 years ago, you were just out of high school back then.
Doesn't it look like it?
I can tell.
Okay.
Also with us tonight, the West Side legend, Price Hill Chili, Western Bowl, and Doug Ramsey. I don't know which is bigger, but I do know the only one that's with us tonight is Doug. How you doing, Doug?
I'm good, Ken. How are you?
Let's start with the Elder Panthers. You opened the showdown Saturday night against Pickerington Central on August the 27th. You also open up with a new quarterback because your son Peyton has moved on to the University of Indiana. So how tough is that going to be for you personally and professionally?
It's going to be tough. You know, the last 4 years I've had a son on a team. Tanner was playing for 2 years, and then Peyton playing for 3 years, 1 year crossover there. So to go in and not have a son around, it's going to be different because, you know, Elder football and Elder itself has been a big part of our family's life, so it's going to be a little bit different.
Will you approach it differently as a coach?
No. I just have to find a quarterback now. You know, we've got a battle, and you know, we've got a couple guys I think that are worthy, and so it'll be interesting to see how it pans out.
Let's talk about Lakota West. You get MOELLER in the Crosstown Showdown. No easy way to begin. Your team went 7-3 last season. You won 6 of your last 7, and you didn't get in the playoffs. And I'm looking at these final scores, and you're playing your best football over the final 6 weeks of the year. I think it highlights that you got to start strong in this. And you know, not just you, everybody does at Division I. You got to start building those points early, don't you?
There's no gimmies anymore. This is such a loaded region, and I think that has a lot to do with it, with the quality of teams in the entire region, and even splitting back to 4 like they did. You know, you look at someone like Dayton Wayne, who's happy to be in Columbus because, you know, as I talk with Jay, he looks, sees what's down south, and it's just a strong region. And with that, you're starting out strong. Sure, there's a little leeway, maybe a little wiggle room, but not much. And I think that's, you know, winning your non-conference games is important.
Yeah, you guys have been taking teams to this showdown really since the start of it. It's really kind of neat, and you forget sometimes how big a deal it is for these kids to play at Nippert Stadium, because a good number of them will never get that far. Some will, some won't, but this is the big deal, isn't it? To be able to play in a college football stadium. I think it's great.
It is. You know, we haven't had a chance to play in a couple of years. We, you know, with the renovation of the stadium, we kind of did a home and home with Oak Hills in the showdown. And so for our guys to be back, I haven't even been in the stadium since it's been redone.
Really?
So yeah, so it's you know, our kids are looking forward to it, and we're playing a team that a lot of the college guys that are recruited told me they're probably the best team in Columbus. So it's going to be a good matchup.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. I know the last thing we need to do is make Tom Gamble feel great, but he really does a great job with this. He really does, and the excitement kind of builds here, because you know when that gets there, high school football season begins. I think that's the beauty of it too. It starts strongly.
Well, the thing I've always liked about the game is it is a great gauge about where you're at in a big time game, in a big time atmosphere. I mean, the kids do love it, you know, and through the years playing down there, our kids really, we get a good gauge at it, you know.
Yeah. And
it's interesting because I always make the joke with Elder when they're down there, it's like their second home field. Because they bring a lot, but it's really a neat environment, and you know, Tom does a great job with it.
I want to talk about a coach's biggest offseason nightmare. We found out this week that St. X lost 2 offensive linemen, one of whom, Matt Brockhorst, is one of the best in the business. They're great athletes all over the Tri-State. You don't want a player not to be in shape in the offseason, but these camps, like the Nike camp, the opening, can you lobby your players not to go to that, because in the long run it may not be in their best interest? What do you think, Doug?
I'd love to not send them. You know, it's different for the kid that's going to a college camp to try to earn a scholarship. You know, you understand those things, but some of these, the opening, if you've ever seen video of those, these kids are going at it. I mean, helmets on, it's a live pass rush. They're going full speed, and the opportunity for an injury is there. And I try to tell our kids this, you know, you're a part of our team, you know. Be a leader with our team. You're going to Notre Dame, you're going to Clemson, wherever it is. Enjoy that when you get there, but right now be a part of what we're doing here.
I see both of you here. I feel like it's the fall. Like the leaves are going to turn, and it's going to be good again. The long, hot summer is over with. You guys bring out the best in me. It's good to see you.
Absolutely. Appreciate
Continue.
being
Larry Cox, Lakota West High School, Doug Ramsey from Elder High School. We'll see you here in a couple of weeks for camp, and then the showdown coming up the end of August. Good to see you both.
Yep, you too. Thanks,
All right,
Ken.
straight ahead.